This day in sports history. This episode is brought to you by the Sterling Soap Company. Christmas will be here before you know it, and you know what would make a great stocking stuffer for everybody in your family? Sterling Soap. From bar soap to shave soap, beard balm to lip balm, aftershaves and lotions, Sterling Soap has something for everyone on your list. Check out their seasonal soaps that will complement the scents of your home this holiday season. And they're more than just soap. They also have a full line of coffee straight from the Sterling Roastery. Find their full line of products at sterlingsoapcompany.com. It's December 10th, and on this day in 1989, it was one of the best goal line stands that you'll ever see or hear about on a podcast like this one. This was a Week 14 matchup between the 9-4 New York Giants and the 10-3 Denver Broncos. There were some playoff implications in this one. Both teams looked pretty solid to get into the playoffs, but both were coming off losses. This game was in Denver at Mile High Stadium with a nice little snowfall throughout the game. It was pretty steady and it frosted the field in the second half, but it really never deteriorated the conditions too badly, but it did affect some footing late in this one. Now, this was a battle between the best two defenses in the league, and the score late in the third quarter, where we pick up the action, reflects that. New York led 14-0, but Denver was driving. After a handoff to Sammy Winder gave the Broncos a first down just inside the 10, things looked promising for Denver to come away with some points. On first down, Bobby Humphrey picked up 7 yards to make it 2nd and goal from the 2. On second down, they gave it to Melvin Bratton on a between-the-tackles play. He tried to leap into the end zone, but linebacker Steve DiSH hit him before he could get airborne, and Bratton only gained a yard. On 3rd and goal from the 1, they tried to run it again, and here's where that snow may have played a factor. Instead of running inside the tackles again, could those Broncos backs get to the edge and find the footing to cut into the end zone? Well, that's a question that we'll never get an answer to because the Broncos decided to run it inside again. They gave it to Humphrey again, and DiSH came through with a big hit again, stopping him for no gain to set up 4th and goal. Instead of opting for the 3 points, Dan Reeves decided to go for it against a Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick defense. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden with the call that day for CBS.
Elway asking for quiet. Don't forget he can roll out and likes to. Humphrey. Reasons. Like a shot.
That is great football. Gary Reasons on that drive made 3 of the best hits I've ever seen him make in his life. I've ever seen anyone make, and this is the best of the 3 best.
Wow.
Look at the determination. He reads run the whole way. He reads Humphrey the whole way. He takes off for the jump before Humphrey takes off for his jump. That is football.
And that was a great goal line stand with Reasons making the crucial stop on 4th down. It was so big that for New York Giants fans, it is simply known as the hit. And that's saying something when you consider that this defense was known to make a lot of big hits during the Parcells days. The Giants won this game 14-7. Both teams eventually did make the playoffs. The Giants were bounced by the Rams in the divisional playoff round. The Broncos would get to Super Bowl 24 before being crushed by San Francisco. On this day in 2017, it was another Week 14 matchup in the NFL that had playoff implications. This was a divisional game between the 10-2 Pittsburgh Steelers and the 7-5 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore was desperate for wins to try to make the playoffs. A win against the Steelers would go a long way in helping their cause. The Ravens turned a 2014 halftime deficit into a 31-20 lead by the end of the third quarter, thanks to a Justin Tucker field goal, a Javorius Buck Allen touchdown run, and a Joe Flacco to Patrick Ricard touchdown pass. The Steelers' Ben Roethlisberger had been throwing the ball all over Heinz Field that night, and when he hit his fullback Roosevelt Nix out of the backfield for a 1-yard touchdown pass and catch, it was a 2-point game. The Steelers failed on their conversion attempt, though, and it stayed 31-29. The Ravens' Javorius Allen scored for the second time to make it 38-29. The Steelers, though, had some fight left in them. Le'Veon Bell scored his third touchdown of the day with 3.5 to play, and then the Steelers opted for the PAT to make it a 2-point game again, 38-36 Ravens. After forcing a punt, the Steelers had the ball deep in their own territory with under 2 minutes to play, but they came up with two crucial third down conversions. First, on a 3rd and 13, Roethlisberger found Jesse James for 17 yards to give them new life. James had 10 catches for 97 yards in this one. And then facing a 3rd and 5 from their own 35, they came up with another one. Here's Al Michaels with the call for NBC that night.
Roethlisberger deep down the right sideline. Antonio Brown. He's amazing.
Antonio Brown was targeted 18 times in this one and finished with 11 catches for 213 yards. That put Chris Boswell in field goal range, and with 42 seconds left, he booted it through to give the Steelers the 39-38 lead. The Ravens still had some time and a timeout to drive into Justin Tucker's field goal range, but a TJ Watt sack of Flacco ended those hopes, and the Steelers escaped with the 1-point win. Big Ben attempted 66 passes and completed 44 of them for 506 yards. He became the first quarterback in the NFL to throw for 500 or more yards in 3 games in his career. Are you a hockey fan? Then you'll love Eric Zweig's new book, Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories 2. It's a treasure trove of untold tales, bizarre incidents, and captivating trivia that will leave even the most devoted puckhead astounded. The intense rivalries, epic showdowns, and historic clashes that shaped the NHL's early years, it's all in there. Zweig uncovers the true stories that helped shape the sport, ensuring that you will never look at hockey the same way again. Check out Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories 2 on Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. On this day in 2002, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen played against each other in an NBA game for the first and only time. Jordan and Pippen were a great pair for the 6-time NBA champion Chicago Bulls in the 90s. They were the perfect combo, and they played off each other so well on the court. They were peanut butter and jelly. Off the court, it was a different story. They were more like oil and water. A lot of that came out in The Last Dance, and even more so in Scottie Pippen's book Unguarded. But that's a conversation for other podcasts. Now, of course, after their 6th title, the Bulls were dismantled. Jordan retired again. Bulls players scattered to other NBA cities to play out their careers. When Jordan decided to unretire for the 2nd time and come back to the NBA, he joined the Washington Wizards. It wasn't pretty. It didn't actually taint his legacy, but it wasn't the Jordan that we remembered, right? There was a flash of the magic of the 90s occasionally, but those moments were fleeting. Well, Pippen went to the Rockets, and then he wound up in Portland for a 4-year run. On this night, they finally met up wearing different uniforms. It was a highly anticipated but a bit disappointing matchup. Their greeting on the court prior to the tip was a bit chilly as well, just a fist bump and a word or two. This game was a snoozer in the first half. The Wizards were down 17 midway through the second quarter.
Jordan leads the break. Now pops from long range and got it. 2-point field goal for Michael Jordan.
Those points by Jordan didn't help out much. The Blazers still led by 18 at half. The game did not get much better in the second half either. Both Jordan and Pippen finished the night with 14 points, and neither scored in the fourth quarter. Pippen's Blazers won the game by 19. And after the game, Jordan said that it was unfortunate that fans actually had to pay to see that. On this day in 1971, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had his best night as a pro. Kareem was playing with the Milwaukee Bucks at this point. Well, on this night, he scored a career-best 55 points and grabbed 17 rebounds in a 120-104 win over Boston. The Bucks were the defending NBA champs, and Kareem was coming off his first MVP season, but statistically speaking, the 71-72 season was his best. He led the league in scoring at just under 35 a game. Of his 10 career 50-point games, 5 of those came this season, and once again was named the league's MVP, his second of 6 that he would win in his career. Milwaukee would not repeat as champs, however, losing to the eventual champion Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. And with Juan Soto's huge 10-year, $765 million deal he just signed with the New York Mets, which dwarfs the $700 million deal that Shohei Ohtani signed just last year, let's step back 24 years to this day in 2000, when Alex Rodriquez signed the biggest pro contract at that point, putting his name on a 10-year, $252 million contract with the Texas Rangers. Now, that dwarfed anything at the time. The relationship with the Rangers did not last very long, however. He was traded to New York after just 3 years with the Rangers, and he opted out of that deal after just 7 years. He signed an even bigger 10-year, $275 million contract in 2008 when he re-signed with the Yankees. And by the way, that $275 million contract is not even in the top 10 of biggest pro contracts now. And time now for today's Nothing to Do with Sports fun fact. In case you were wondering, your skin weighs around 11 pounds. That's all I've got for you today. I'll have more tomorrow on this day in sports history. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.